Chapter 61 Danzo vs Xiaonan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The way Danzo entered the hidden rain village was very clever. He first channeled a very small dream bun out. After Mtlnove slipped in from the corner, he used the reverse psychic technique and successfully entered Jonin village. He believed that the less people knew about taking refuge in Senju Hanzo, the safer he would be. After all, there are still a lot of stupid people in the ninja world. If Senju Hanzo's title of demigod cannot scare these people, then his situation will be very dangerous. He never thought that Senju Hanzo would refuse to protect him, because in addition to having a debt of gratitude, he also knows some dirty information about the other party. At the very least, if their joint efforts to annihilate the Akatsuki organization were exposed, it would be enough to destroy Senju Hanzo's prestige. If he hadn't reached the point where he was at the end of his rope, Hanzo would definitely not betray himself. Well, that's what Danzo himself thinks. Unfortunately, what he didn't know was that Senju Hanzo had been killed by Payne long ago, and the moment he entered Jonin village, he was discovered by Payne. No, Xiaonan, who was flying in the sky, was sensing it while rushing towards the place where this strange chakra appeared. When she arrived at the place, she saw Shimura Danzo, who was sneaking around. It's him? Zetsu, the intelligence officer of the Akatsuki organization, told them about Danzo's defection from Konoha as early as the morning, but they didn't expect that Danzo didn't find a place to hide and become a bereaved dog, but instead came to Amigakure village. What is he here for? With this idea, Xiaonan did not immediately attack Danzo, but I want to see what this guy wants to do. Time passed by, and Danzo arrived at the office building in the center of Amigakure village very smoothly. Senju Hanzo was very ambitious when he was young and wanted to become the 6th largest country after the 5 major countries. The construction of Ninja Village is also based on the standards of the other 5 major countries. This office building is modeled after the Konoha office building. At this time, Hanzo should be working inside. Looking at the building in front of him, Danzo smiled disdainfully, then muttered something, and finally sneaked in furtively. He's here to see Hanzo. That this office building has been abandoned since Hanzo was killed by them. However, in order to deceive others and prevent those with ulterior motives from realizing that Hanzo was actually dead, this office building has always been operating normally in the eyes of outsiders. There are all the guards that should be there. There are also the task release personnel that should be there. Anyway, all the necessary configurations are available here, but in fact, these are just appearances, and all the people inside are pretending to be peripheral members of the Akatsuki organization. The purpose is to deceive. It was obvious that Danzo had been deceived. He was cautious and avoided all the staff in the office building, and arrived at the leader's office on the 3rd floor in a thrilling manner. Standing in front of the door, he took a deep breath, opened the door and walked in. Hanzo, why don't you entertain your old friend when he comes? That the overall layout of this office is similar to that of the Hokage's office. As soon as he entered the office, he could see Senju Hanzo sitting at his desk. Maybe it was because it was still raining in the Agakure village, so the light in the room was a little bad. In addition, Senju Hanzo was not facing Danzo, but facing the floor-to-ceiling window behind him. Danzo didn't realize for a moment that the Hanzo in front of him was a fake. Well, to be precise, it's a humanoid wooden puppet. Hanzo, but there was no response from Hanzo for several seconds, and Danzo also noticed something was wrong. Cautiously he began to move forward. When he came to the right side of the desk, he was shocked when he saw a puppet sitting on the chair. It was while Danzo was in shock that Conan appeared at the door and launched an attack on Danzo. Paper release, paper shuriken. Xiaonan waved her right hand gently in the direction of the office. In an instant, a large stream of shurikens formed from paper attacked Danzo. What? Danzo was startled by the sudden attack. Would release. Violent spear tree. At the critical moment, Danzo jumped back and broke the French window. At the same time, he quickly created a giant tree with his right hand, successfully resisting Conan's paper shuriken. Who are you? Landing on a private house, Danzo did not escape immediately. He looked at Xiaonan flying in the sky and asked solemnly. You don't need to know my identity. Xiaonan replied expressionlessly. Seeing that the other party refused to reveal his identity, Danzo did not continue to ask questions. He just wanted to see Hanzo as soon as possible. You hide your head and show your tail. You have no right to talk to me. Where is Hanzo? Tell him to come out and see me. Xiaonan had a strange look on his face when he heard this. you want to see Hanzo? Yes, let him come to see me quickly, otherwise I will expose the scandalous things he did before. This threat has no effect on Xiaonan. She still looked expressionless and said, okay, then I'll send you to see him. Upon hearing this, Danzo breathed a sigh of relief, although his original words were to ask Hanzo to come see him, but it's not impossible for him to go to Hanzo, as long as you can see each other. Paper escape, dance of Shiki paper. As Konan activated her ninjutsu, her body began to rapidly transform into pieces of paper. A large amount of paper appeared and attacked Danzo. Seeing this, Danzo did not immediately fight back. He still hasn't figured out the situation yet. It is unknown why Hanzo's men attacked him. Yes, he regarded Konan as Hanzo's subordinate. After all, this is Kyumo Hidden Village, the Yumo Hidden Village where Sanshuyu Hanzo lives. He never thought that Hanzo would be killed and die so silently. What do you mean, that I don't know when? The sky stopped raining, allowing Xiaonan's paper escape to exert its full power. Faced with the papers flying all over the sky, Danzo found it very difficult to avoid them. Didn't you say you wanted to see Hanzo? I'm going to see Hanzo. What does it have to do with you attacking me? If I don't kill you, how can you see Hanzo? What? Hanzo is dead. Danzo panicked now. If Hanzo dies, then there will really be no one in the entire ninja world who can provide him with shelter. Does Danzo Shimura really want to be a homeless dog hiding in hiding? Don't resist, I will send you to see him right now. Konan accelerated his offensive, and the shurikens, long-haired swords, and short swords turned from paper kept attacking Danzo. This time, Danzo did not hold back in the face of Konan's attack. Wind release, vacuum jade. While dodging left and right, Danzo saw the opportunity, took a deep breath and pointed at Konan and the paper, spraying out many air bullets from his mouth like a machine gun. Chapter 62 Danzo vs Payne. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Using bullets with strong penetrating power to deal with paper is a very wise response. After a while, a large amount of paper was penetrated by these air bullets and a hole was made, which also caused a momentary delay in Konan's chakra transmission. Danzo is indeed an experienced veteran ninja, and he seized this momentary opportunity. Wind escape, vacuum big ball. If the vacuum ball is a machine gun, the vacuum ball is a rocket launcher. The paper penetrated by the air bullet did not play any blocking role. The air cannon with a diameter of more than 1 meter successfully hit Konan. Paper stand. The power of the vacuum ball is very strong, and ordinary people can announce their death with such a shot, but Konan is different. The moment she was hit, her body had begun to turn into paper. The vacuum ball hit only her who turned into paper. Danzo, who was not familiar with the details of the paper escape ninjutsu, thought that the opponent's move was some kind of paper stand. No, it's just a simple shikigami dance. As the surrounding papers began to gather, Konan's figure reappeared in front of Danzo. Looking at Konan, who reappeared without blushing or panting, Danzo cursed inwardly. Trouble, it's really troublesome. As long as Konan has enough chakra, Danzo's wind escape can't hurt him. Not to mention wind escape, even fire escape doesn't work. In the original work, Jiraiya used fire escape first when facing Konan's attack. After seeing that fire escape had no effect, he used toad oil. Danzo didn't have toad oil to attack Konan. He only knew wind escape and 1 or 2 immature would escape. Let's not talk about would escape for now, and the effect of wind escape, he just saw it. It's basically useless. Such a big air cannon hit him. Konan can still appear in front of him like nothing happened, which is enough to prove that wind escape is really not very effective against Konan. At this moment, Danzo thought about retreating. Little girl, I don't think I have any grudge against you, right? Since Hanzo is dead, I won't bother you anymore. No grudge, but how could there be no grudge? Before Hanzo was killed, Payne knew from him why Hanzo wanted to destroy the Akatsuki organization. It was the old dog Danzo who instigated behind the scenes. If it weren't for Danzo, Hanzo wouldn't have set a trap in the name of agreeing to cooperate and destroy their Akatsuki organization. If it weren't for Danzo, Yahiko wouldn't have died. In the final analysis, Danzo was the culprit who caused the destruction of the Akatsuki organization and the death of Yahiko. Now this guy actually told her that there was no grudge between them. It's really ridiculous. Danzo, you deserve to die. Konan, who always had a blank expression on her face, couldn't help but show an angry face at this time. Go to hell honestly. Schwa. Conan launched a paper attack again. She increased the input of chakra, making the papers much harder and faster. If Danzo still wants to use the vacuum jade to deal with it, he will definitely not have a good result. This crazy woman. Danzo cursed secretly, and while dodging quickly, he also fought back. Wind escape, shuriken. As Danzo injected chakra into the shuriken in his hand, a wind escape cutter formed around the rapidly rotating shuriken. A large amount of paper was cut in half by the cutter, losing its original function. The reduction of paper also reduced Danzo's pressure. He also understood it. The woman opposite was indeed good at paper escape, but her attack methods were very scarce. Judging from the wind escape ninjutsu he mastered, he couldn't deal with her, and she couldn't deal with him. At the same time, he was also very confused. The other party seemed to have a serious illness and kept biting him. If I have done anything wrong to you, just tell me. If you don't say it, how can I know where I offended you? Shaking his head, Danzo felt that it didn't matter anymore. He had roughly figured out the strength of the other party's paper escape technique, and it was time to leave. Thinking of this, he threw another wind escape technique at Conan and began to cover his retreat. Just as he jumped away from Conan several times in a row, a rhinoceros that came from nowhere hit him against a wall with great force. Wowed at the damage caused by this collision was not small, and Danzo spit out 2 mouthfuls of blood. Payne. Conan, who successfully defended against Danzo's wind escape technique, saw Danzo being knocked away by the rhinoceros. When she came back to her senses and looked for Danzo, she knew that this was the 6 paths of pain controlled by Nagato. You go and evacuate the people around, and I'll leave this guy to you. Conan nodded, without refutation, and turned around to arrange for people to evacuate. In fact, Conan was discovered by the ninjas of the Hidden Rain village when he attacked Danzo outside. They originally wanted to help, but when they saw that the person who attacked was an angel, they did not come up, so as not to cause trouble later. These people organized themselves and began to evacuate the people around them. Who are you? After spitting out 2 mouthfuls of blood, Danzo covered his chest and looked at the circle-eyed man in front of him. He dared to swear that he really didn't know this person. Everything that happened in this world is really strange. I didn't go to Konoha to find you, but you ran to Yugakure. The beast stood calmly in front of Danzo, admiring the embarrassed posture of the old dog vomiting blood. God knows how much pain Nagato endured when he knew the truth, so he didn't go to Konoha village to seek revenge on Danzo. He inherited Yahiko's will and wanted to make the ninja world completely peaceful. Capture the 9-tailed beasts and merge them into the 10 tails, and use the power of the 10 tails to deter the entire ninja world. Before this power is resolved, the major ninja villages will definitely unite against the outside world and no longer easily start a war. As long as he always has the power of the 10 tails, the ninja world will always be peaceful. In order to capture the 9-tailed beasts, the Akatsuki organization, which is not ready at this stage, must keep a low profile. If you want revenge, you have to wait until the organization is ready before you act. It's just that Nagato didn't expect that Danzo would actually come to his door. If you don't kill him, you will be sorry for such a good opportunity. Die. At the command, the hellhound that had been hiding in the surroundings appeared in front of Danzo in an instant, opened its bloody mouth and bit him. Want to kill me? Dream on. Danzo didn't know where he got so many enemies in the Hidden Rain village. He only knew that the circle-eyed man in front of him was not on the same level as that woman. If he didn't fight hard, he might really die here. Would release. Violent spear tree. Danzo mastered very few would release ninjutsu, and he could only use this one skillfully. Fortunately, this move was powerful, not only for defense but also for attack. The hellhound didn't expect that the old man in front of him could fight back, and was pierced by the wooden stake for a moment, and returned to the spirit world. Danzo's resistance made Payne very dissatisfied. He said lightly, according to God's will, isn't it better to just die obediently? Why do you still resist? As soon as the voice fell, 2 more people with circle eyes appeared in front of Danzo. These 2 people were the Hell and the Hungry Ghost. Those who resist God will not have a good end. Payne does not only refer to the way of heaven, but also the other 5 ways. From Baidu Encyclopedia equals. Chapter 63 Danzo, I can be resurrected. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The frog at the bottom of the well doesn't know how high the sky is, how dare he call himself a god? Danzo admitted that the current Amigakure village was very different from the Amigakure village in his impression, and these ninjas were also very capable, but would it be too arrogant to dare to say that he is a god? Forget it, I have lost interest in talking to you, you should just die. After saying that, a fat little man with circle eyes took the lead in launching the attack. As the hungry ghost path among Payne's 6 paths, he has 2 main abilities. One is the sealing seal, which forms a shield to absorb the opponent's ninjutsu. In the original work, he had absorbed Jiraiya's powerful spells such as Gomen, Super Jade Rasengan, Fire Release, Great Flame Bullet. The second is chakra swallowing. He can directly contact the opponent's body and absorb the opponent's chakra into his own body. However, this technique has a drawback, that is, it can only inhale ordinary chakra. If it inhales Senjutsu chakra, the hungry ghost will use Senjutsu chakra and turn it into a stone statue. Fortunately, in today's ninja world, there are too few people who know the Sage mode. Currently there is only one Jiraiya, and later with Naruto and Orochi Kabuto, there are only 3. Danzo does not know the Senjutsu mode and does not have Senjutsu chakra. Once the hungry ghost comes into contact with his body at close range, the consequences can be imagined. Humph, with such a direct attack, you look down on me a little too much. Apart from these 2 abilities, Hungry Ghost Dao's physical skills are very average. Faced with the attack from the Hungry Ghost path, Danzo easily dodged it and also made some counterattacks. Snap. After kicking the Hungry Ghost away, Danzo frowned and felt something was wrong when he saw the round-eyed fat man standing up again like a normal person. In that kick just now, he used 80% of his strength and kicked the opponent away hard. Not to mention causing the opponent to vomit blood and seriously hurt him. It was still interesting at least. What does it mean to just dust off your clothes and stand up again? Moreover, he also felt that the touch when he kicked this person was a bit wrong, and he seemed very stiff. If he was given some time to think about it, he might be able to figure out that the 3 circles in front of him were not living people at all, but 3 corpse puppets. It's a pity that Nagato didn't intend to give him this time. Seeing that the hungry ghost path couldn't deal with Danzo, he simply controlled the 3 Payne and launched the attack together. The hell path attacks from the front. The animal path summons psychic beasts to support him, and the hungry ghost path takes advantage of every opportunity. Once he seizes the opportunity to touch Danzo, he can directly kill him. Of course, things are not so absolute. Any one of the 3 Payne who has a chance can kill Danzo. Anyway, they are just puppets, and the one who really controls them is Nagato. Damn it. The 3 Paynes attacked together, and Danzo immediately felt in trouble. Fortunately, the Hell Realm is not suitable for fighting because his abilities are not suitable for fighting. Instead, it is better for logistics. Therefore, facing the frontal attack from the Hell Realm, Danzo was not only able to handle it with ease, but he still had some spare strength. The animal path is very annoying. The attacks of summoned beasts such as hell crabs, chameleons, rhinos, and hell dogs made Danzo very irritated. In terms of hard power, these psychic beasts are not very strong, but they all have their own unique abilities. For example, a chameleon can adjust its color according to on-site conditions to achieve the effect of invisibility. Danzo was unaware for a moment and was pierced by the chameleon's tongue. As for the hungry ghost realm, Danzo didn't know why this man kept trying to touch him. Adhering to the principle that when things go wrong, there must be a monster, Danzo tried his best to dodge and defend, and did not let the hungry ghost path come into contact with him. The result of this was that he was bruised by the psychic beasts of the animal realm. He also wanted to deal with these psychic beasts first, so he used powerful wind escape several times and successfully defeated several psychic beasts. Seeing that the situation was about to improve, Zhu Xingdao clapped his hands and summoned a new psychic beast. Damn it! After a period of fighting, Danzo's clothes and bandages had been destroyed. Judging from the blood at the corner of his mouth and the heavy breathing, his condition was very bad. Danzo also knew that he was in a bad situation. He knew that if he continued to delay like this, he would definitely not be able to escape Yuin village. Thinking of this, he roared to strengthen his courage, and tore off some remaining bandages on his right hand, completely revealing the true face of that right hand. So many Sharingan. You're really disgusting. Seeing a large number of Sharingan embedded in Danzo's right hand, Nagato behind the scenes was surprised and at the same time became increasingly disgusted with Danzo. God. Even if you are a real god, you can't kill me. A handful of Sharingan gave Danzo plenty of confidence. In his opinion, what kind of Sharingan is this? They are obviously resurrection armors one by one. As long as the Sharingan is still there, he can be resurrected through Izanagi. In other words, with these 10 Sharingan eyes in his right hand, he can be resurrected 10 times. Danzo believed that 10 chances of resurrection were enough for him to kill the enemy and escape smoothly. What you rely on are these disgusting Sharingan. It's a boring trick. You have no chance of survival in front of God. Nagato didn't talk too much nonsense to Danzo. What about 10 Magatama Sharingan? In front of his immortal eyes, these Sharingan eyes were completely inadequate. The psychic beast's sneak attack caused Danzo to spit out another mouthful of blood, but he didn't care either. With the existence of the resurrection armor, Danzo's fighting style began to become extreme. He gave up his defense and attacked the beast with a fierce attack. Even if he is made to vomit blood by these psychic beasts again, he will kill the beasts before he dies, because he was really annoyed with this guy. It's like the psychic beast is free of charge. He kills one, and the other party recruits one. He kills two, and the other party recruits a pair. It's really endless. With Danzo's desperate fighting style, the scene was a little chaotic for a while. Taking advantage of this chaotic situation, Danzo found an opportunity that was not an opportunity. When the rhinoceros behind him bumped into him again, he did not avoid it, but stood still and let the rhinoceros hit him. Even though he knew that he would die if he was hit by this collision, he was determined in his choice. If you die, just die. What are you afraid of? I can be resurrected anyway, Nagato. Is it so awesome to be able to be resurrected? Danzo, yes, being able to be resurrected is so awesome. Rhino managed to hit Danzo, which also allowed Danzo to close the distance between him and the beast. While he still had the last breath of energy, Danzo said to the beast and launched a wind escape. Wind release, vacuum wave. A sharp breath like a sickle erupted from Danzo's mouth and attacked the beast. Because the distance was too close, Zhu Jingdao couldn't avoid it and was cut in half by Feng Dun. At the same time, Danzo smiled slightly and closed his eyes. Chapter 64, Beast said, "What a coincidence, I can also be resurrected." You are listening at novelfull.audio. Danzo fell to the ground without making a sound. Hungry Ghost Road came to him and said with a cold face, "This is the fate of resisting God." After saying that, Hungry Ghost Road raised his huge fist, making it clear that he did not want to leave Danzo's body intact. At this time, Danzo in front of Hungry Ghost Road began to become ethereal and quickly disappeared from his eyes. Before Nagato could be surprised, Danzo's voice sounded from diagonally behind the Hungry Ghost path. I said, even God can't kill me. Turning around and looking, Danzo was standing on a roof intact. Is there such a thing? Danzo, you are stupid, I will be resurrected. Nagato was surprised. He didn't expect that Danzo could be resurrected, and his condition after resurrection was still so good, as if the battle just now was fake. Resurrection. An interesting ability, but if we can kill you once, we can kill you a second time. You? Danzo glanced deeply at Hungry Ghost Road, and then laughed. Ha ha ha, I have already killed the most troublesome one. Are you sure you too can kill me? Are you talking about me? Just when Danzo felt that he had stabilized, the indifferent voice of the beast sounded from his side. Impossible. Following the sound, Danzang was in an open space and saw the beast that he had just cut in half, walking out of the mouth of a demon with a ferocious look on his face. The beast said, surprised, right? I can also be resurrected. You. Monsters. Danzo's face was very ugly when he saw the resurrected beast. His mentality was a bit broken. He was resurrected because he consumed a Sharingan and used Izanagi, so why can the other party be resurrected? Also, what is this giant demon in front of me, and why does the person who can summon the psychic beast come out of its mouth? How ironic, you are obviously the monster. Xiaonan, who had arranged everything around him, returned to the battlefield and happened to hear Danzo's complaints. Monster. Danzo smiled miserably and said, in order to protect Konoha, to live up to Teacher Tobirama, and for my own dream, what if I become a monster? So you don't want to be a human anymore? Yes, I have stopped being a human being a long time ago, so you all should die for me too. With a roar, the battle began again. This time, Danzo changed his target and instead of attacking the animal realm, he started attacking the hell realm. He didn't know what the principle behind the resurrection of the animal realm was. He only knew that the animal realm came out of the mouth of the demon, and that the demon was summoned by the hell realm. So, if you want to prevent these circle eyes from resurrecting, you must take the lead in killing the hell realm. Wind escape, vacuum J. As Danzo fired an air cannon from his mouth, he wanted to repeat his old trick and get close to the hell realm, so that he could use the vacuum wave to change the opponent from 1 to 2, but he didn't notice that the hungry ghost realm came to the hell realm at some point. I saw hungry ghost Dao opening his hands towards the air cannon and forming a shield around himself. When the air cannon hit the shield, hungry ghost Dao opened his big mouth and sucked the air cannon into his stomach. You can actually absorb ninjutsu chakra. An air cannon as big as his was absorbed by the opponent in the blink of an eye. Such a nonsense scene made Danzo's eyes widen. Only then did he understand why the hungry ghost wanted to touch his body. Judging from the opponent's ability to absorb ninjutsu chakra, isn't touching his body just to absorb the chakra from him? Fortunately, I was smart enough not to let him get in touch with me. That being said, the current situation is becoming increasingly unfavorable to him. There are 3 circles in front of him, one can summon psychic beasts infinitely, one can absorb chakra, and the third can resurrect them. This is tricky. From the corner of his eye, Danzo glanced at Conan flying in the sky, and Danzo felt that there must be some conspiracy hidden in Amigakure village. Otherwise, with their abilities, they would not be unknown in the ninja world. By the way, they also killed Hanzo and suppressed the news of Hanzo's death. To say that there is no conspiracy, I personally don't believe it. No, I want to escape as soon as possible and tell everyone about the plot that Amigakure village is planning to harm the ninja world. He didn't care whether there was a conspiracy in Amigakure village to harm the ninja world. What he cared about was that he was really going to escape this time. He no longer expects to kill anyone on the other side, as long as he can escape. Thinking of this, Danzo formed a seal with his hands, slapped the ground hard, and used necromancy to summon the strongest member of the Yumamo clan. Help me stop them. After saying that, Danzo started running out of the village without looking back, leaving Mengma to face Payne, Sandu and Xiaonan alone. Boom boom boom. Before Danzo could run very far, he had to evade several cannonballs coming from a distance. When he dodged the attack and looked towards the direction from which it came, he saw another circle of eyes appearing in front of his eyes. There is still one. Danzo admitted that he was starting to get a little scared. God's will cannot be violated. Danzo, you can't run away. As soon as he finished speaking, Mengma's miserable scream sounded from behind Danzo. Immediately, 3 swish of pain appeared in front of him, surrounding him. Seeing that he seemed unable to escape, Danzo gritted his teeth and prepared to become ruthless. Do you think you're done with me? Don't forget, I may be resurrected. Resurrection? Just kill a few more times. That's right. Xiaonan, who was flying in the sky, also echoed, I don't believe there is no limit to your resurrection. You are really underestimated. Danzo gritted his teeth and rushed towards the hell realm angrily. Since he can't run away, no matter what, he has to support him. Obviously, his first goal is to resurrect these circle-eyed hell realms. It's just that his strength is not enough for him to do this. When he only faced 3 Paynes before, he just caught Payne's carelessness and killed the beast in half by exchanging one life for another. Now that Shura Dao has been added, who can use various thermal weapons, even if Danzo has used a desperate fighting style, he still has no chance to kill Hell Dao. In addition, Nagato already knew that he could be resurrected, so he couldn't launch a sneak attack when he was resurrected. Are you going to die here? Facing the siege of Payne's 4 paths, Danzo's resurrection coins were consumed very quickly. Every time a Izanagi is used, a Sharingan closes his eyes in his right hand. This phenomenon was also noticed by Nagato and Xiaonan. It turns out that you were resurrected by consuming Sharingan. No wonder you have so many Sharingan embedded in your hand. It's a pity that your Sharingan has been exhausted. Die, Danzo. Seeing that all 10 Sharingan eyes had been consumed, Shuradao fired a missile that directly blew Danzo's body into pieces, successfully killed Danzo without leaving his body intact. Xiaonan, ask someone to come over and clean it up. I see. After taking care of Danzo, Payne Shidu was ready to return to the base, while Conan also began to fly away. No one noticed that Danzo's body, which had been reduced to pieces, was beginning to become insubstantial. Wind escape, vacuum waves. Danzo, who was resurrected again, didn't waste any time and used his strongest wind escape against the Hell Realm. What? The Hell path that could not be avoided was instantly cut into several pieces by several wind blades. Seeing that his attack was effective, Danzo laughed wildly. Ha. After laughing for a long time, Danzo roared angrily, I will help you even if you die, and if that guy is killed by me, you will have no chance to be resurrected in the future. Seeing Danzo looking crazy, the rest of Payne said nothing and just stared at him. On the other hand, Conan looked surprised and asked, Isn't your Sharingan exhausted? Why can you still be resurrected? Danzo satisfied Conan's curiosity. He took off the last bandage wrapped around his right eye, revealing a blind and white eyeball. You didn't expect that I also hide a Sharingan. I see, this is your final resurrection. Yes, this is my final resurrection, and at the same time, I will drag you into hell. As soon as Danzo finished speaking, the mark of 4 symbols within appeared on his body. He wants to use this trick to perish together with the other party. Innocent. Looking at Danzo, who was activating the technique and running towards Payne Sando, these 3 guys didn't even move, they just stood there waiting for each other to come over. Just when Danzo was about to approach Payne Sando, a sound broke through the air in the distance and hit Danzo accurately. In just a moment, Danzo's technique was suppressed and the activation failed. What? Danzo was shocked. Was his last resort defeated by the black rod inserted into his body? He reluctantly raised his head and looked in the direction of the attack. Suddenly, he saw a new circle of eyes floating in the sky. Damn it, how many circles do you still have? Can't you come out all at once? Tendo Payne slowly landed in front of Danzo, ignored his shouts, and took out another black stick. Seeing that he didn't want to talk to him and wanted to kill him, he no longer worried about how many people were in the circle. The person who can resurrect you has been killed by me. You who can no longer be resurrected will definitely be killed by others in the future. I am waiting for you in hell. So much nonsense. Tendo Payne waved his right hand lightly, and a black rod was smoothly inserted into Danzo's heart. Without the Sharingan, Danzo cannot use Izanagi to resurrect. This time, he was really dead. Pen, do you want me to dispose of Danzo's body? Tiandao shook his head and said, the hell path was damaged, and Danzo's body can just be used to replace it. After saying that, he pulled Danzo up into the air and returned to the base, and began to process the corpse in his hands. Not long after, a figure with a few black nails on his face came out of the darkness. Hell Realm Danzo, please join us. Being made into pain, what do you think of Danzo's ending in Konoha 61? Chapter 65. 1 month later. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just when everyone in the ninja world was trying to find Danzo and wanted to kill him to obtain a generous bounty, he died quietly in the rain-hidden village. Nagato blocked the news, causing Danzo's death to never come out. The 3rd Hokage and the 5th Jiraiya were still surprised that there had been no news about Danzo since he ran out of Konoha village. They thought that Danzo would definitely do something to retaliate, and they were fully prepared, waiting for Danzo to show up. Unfortunately, Danzo did not appear again until the official inventory began a month later. Today is the day of the 5th period's official inventory. In the extra video half a month ago, because Tobirama and the 3rd Hokage didn't ask any questions, Lin Tian simply shot a food video, which opened the eyes of everyone in Konoha village in 2 time and space. After watching the video, the leaders of the 2 villages unanimously assigned the people around them the task of replicating the various delicacies that appeared in the video as much as possible. They also want to try what these delicious-looking foods taste like. In this way, while Tobirama and Orochimaru were busy doing research, and the others were busy reproducing the delicious food. Another half-month passed and we arrived at today, in Tobirama's office, before the time reached 8 o'clock. Tobirama took the time to read the experimental materials in his hand again. "Teacher, is there any breakthrough in the experiment?" Kagami and Hiruzen were going to the land of fire to protect the daimyo, so they didn't know how far their teacher's research had reached. Seeing teacher Tobirama looking at the experimental materials, they couldn't help but come forward. "Yes, combined with the information Orochimaru gave us, not only have there been some breakthroughs in cloning technology in this month, but there have also been some key developments in the research on white Zetsu." Tobirama replied, and then handed the information in his hand to Hiruzen and Kagami. "Orochimaru is indeed a rare research talent. If we exchange experimental results with him a few more times, I am confident that we can completely defeat the cloning technology within half a year. As expected of a teacher, you are really amazing." Mirror and Hiruzen looked at the experimental materials in their hands, and the more they looked at them, the more surprised they became. They couldn't understand the detailed data, but they could still understand the process and summary of the experiment. In such a short period of time, Tobirama was able to perfectly clone a white mouse, and according to observations, there were no sequelae. I have to say, this is really awesome. As for Baiju, that would be very interesting. Having said this, Tobirama continued with a slightly solemn expression, "I actually found my eldest brother's cells in his body." "What? Baizetsu has the cells of Lord Shodame in his body." Hearing this, everyone present was very surprised. Through the light curtain and other people's narration, they knew how terrifying the Hashirama cells were. 40 years later, during the Konoha period, countless people died while studying Hashirama cells before they came up with an inferior version of would escape. Baiju said that they have many of the same existences. Yes, after being captured, Baizetsu was extremely obedient, with no sense of resistance at all. He cooperated with Tobirama's research throughout the whole process and asked him about things, and told him everything he knew. This also let Tobirama know that Shiro was not just 1, 2, 3, or 4, but a group of them. A group of white Zetsu with Hashirama cells, even if they are weak, are still a very terrifying force, not to mention Baiju's latent ability that is hard to guard against. If it weren't for the teleportation function of the light screen, Tobirama wouldn't even know that he had such a thing on his body. Fortunately, Baiju's existence is not entirely bad news. At the very least, Big Brother's cells are somewhat weakened in his body. When the cloning technology is fully mature, I can extract Big Brother's cells from his body and clone a Big Brother. Body out. Of course, the body cloned in this way will definitely be much weaker than the original body of Senju Hashirama. Fortunately, Tobirama also has means to make up for this weakness. In short, facing the threat of Uchiha Madara, Tobirama will have to wait for his elder brother to be resurrected before confronting him head-on. For now, just pretend you don't know anything and try your best to delay time. I don't know who the person taking stock of today is. Konoha 61, the 5th generation Jiraiya's office. 2 newcomers came here. They are Orochimaru's disciple, Uchiha Sasuke, and the 5th generation Jiraiya's disciple, Uzumaki Naruto. Landful Immortal, 3rd generation Grandpa, why are you calling me here so late? Why is Sasuke here too? As soon as he entered the office, Uzumaki Naruto kept chattering, which annoyed Jiraiya. Sasuke was much better, he was already cold, but became even colder after becoming Orochimaru's disciple. He usually doesn't speak unless necessary. The first is to maintain his cold persona. Secondly, there is Uzumaki Naruto and the Team 7 team. If he wants to know anything, he doesn't need to talk at all. Naruto will help him ask the questions. Just like that, Sasuke was also curious as to why Orochimaru called him here. He became even more curious when he saw Jiraiya and the 3rd Hokage in the office. Since you two have become disciples of me and Orochimaru, you are qualified to know some things in the village. In fact, this was just one of the reasons why the 5th generation Jiraiya and Orochimaru brought them here. Another more important reason is that the light screen revealed that Naruto and Sasuke will have a higher status than Orochimaru in the future. These two people didn't look like scientific researchers at first glance, so the reason why they have a higher status than Orochimaru is probably because of their strength. Since in a world where there is no light barrier, both of them can grow. To be stronger than Orochimaru, so in this world, if they train two people in advance, is there a chance that they will be stronger than they originally were? Naruto, Sasuke, please don't shout for a while, just watch quietly. After saying that, Jiraiya the Fifth looked directly at Naruto. Obviously, he actually said this to Naruto. What do you mean, lustful immortal? After hearing this, Naruto quit. Jiraiya the fifth generation was clearly looking down on him. Look, aren't you just yelling now? Naruto was speechless and could only fold his arms and start sulking. Seeing this, the fifth Jiraiya shook his head, turned to the third Hokage and said, Old man, is Tsunade still unwilling to come back? Orochimaru has returned to Konoha, and of course the fifth generation Jiraiya also wants Tsunade to come back. After he became the fifth Hokage, he and the third Hokage sent Anbu to find Tsunade. I happened to find Tsunade's tray some time ago, but the result was not very satisfactory. Tsunade didn't want to come back. Yes. Speaking of Tsunade, the third Hokage had a bitter look on his face. He thought that if he had agreed to Tsunade's medical reform proposal, Kato Dan and Naoki might not have died, and she would not be so disappointed in the village and would rather live outside the village than come back. Well, it seems I have to go out and invite him personally. Hearing this, the third Hokage looked at Jiraiya strangely. He didn't know where Jiraiya got his confidence, thinking that if he went to find Tsunade, Tsunade would come back obediently. The Hokage of your current village is not suitable to leave the village, so you should let me go. After taking a puff of cigarette, the third Hokage made a decision. Old man, you. I've made up my mind, don't say anything else. Fine. Chapter 66 Fifth Period Inventory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The time came to 8 o'clock sharp, and the light curtain appeared in the Hokage's office on time. The moment he saw the light screen appear, Uzumaki Naruto subconsciously wanted to scream. Coincidentally, at this time he saw the fifth generation Jiraiya looking at him with a playful look. In order not to let the lustful immortal look down upon him, Naruto immediately covered his mouth with his hands and suppressed the desire to scream. Hi, hello, dear viewers, I am a new member of Tian. In the last issue's review of Danzo, the feedback from viewers was a bit poor, and the number of fans also dropped a lot. So, in order to win over you viewers, in this issue we will talk about a very popular character in Naruto. This character is the fourth Hokage of Konoha village, Minato Namikaze. In Tobirama's office, when they heard that the character listed was the fourth Hokage, everyone in the office became interested. Namikaze Minato, he seems to be a ninja who is better at using Flying Thunder God than his sensei. When Danzo last traveled to Konoha in 61 years, after Danzo, the fifth Jiraiya and the third Hokage introduced Izanagi, they also learned about some of the development of the village in the past few decades from their mouths. Among them, the one the two talked about the most was Namikaze Minato. What kind of Flying Thunder God technique is used to perfection? If Minato is not dead, the Uchiha should not be exterminated. A series of nice things like that. These words successfully made Danzo curious about Minato. It just so happens that the character reviewed in this issue is Namikaze Minato, who can satisfy Danzo's curiosity. Danzo was in a good mood and subconsciously said the above sentence. Huh. You said he is better than me at using Flying Thunder God. Seeing Senju Tobirama's slightly unhappy look, Danzo finally realized that he seemed to be in trouble. After so many things happened, he still didn't give up on the position of the third Hokage. He usually tried his best to please Senju Tobirama, but he couldn't let his achievements fall short just because of a word. Didn't the light curtain say that I was a scapegoat? This time I will let you take a closer look at how I deflect the blame. Thinking of this, Danzo immediately replied, that's not what I said, it was what the old monkey and old Jiraiya said. The third Hokage did say something similar, but he did not directly say that Minato's Flying Thunder God was stronger than the second generation's. The sentence just now was purely added by Danzo himself. Tobirama didn't know this. After hearing Danzo's words of blame, he nodded, believing him. The fifth generation Jiraiya's office, when they saw that the person to be counted on the light screen was Namikaze Minato, he and the third Hokage subconsciously glanced at Uzumaki Naruto who was still covering his mouth. the behavior of the two made Sasuke feel very strange. Does Naruto have anything to do with the fourth Hokage? He turned to look at Orochimaru, wanting to hear the answer from his cheap teacher. Unexpectedly, Orochimaru did not answer Sasuke, but smiled with interest. Seeing that he couldn't get the answer from Orochimaru, Sasuke turned his attention to the light screen. Namikaze Minato was undoubtedly a mysterious ninja in the early stages of the work. There hasn't been much information around him, except that he was taught by Jiraiya. Little Jiraiya, huh? Will he be my disciple? The Namikaze family has always been a mystery. Naruto has been completed and the author has not filled this hole. So based on the overall storyline of Naruto and Minato's strong interest in naming him, I guess Minato is not the so-called Namikaze clan. It must have been when I was hanging out with Jiraiya that I gave myself a name like this, Namikaze Explosion Flood Swirl Jump Dragon Gate Origi. Perhaps because it was too complicated, it was reduced to Namikaze Minato, which is easier to read. Of course, the joke is not nonsense, and the adaptation is not random fabrication. Namikaze's family emblem has appeared in the play, but only on the back of Namikaze Menma's clothes in the movie, Road to the Ninja. The Namikaze clan on the internet is good at time and space ninjutsu, but they are all made up and cannot be taken seriously. So the Namikaze clan will not analyze too much, it is of little significance. Hiruzen, are there members of the Namikaze group in the village? Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was called by Tobirama, thought for a while and replied, as far as I know, there should be no. What about you? Does anyone know about the Namikaze clan? That everyone shook their heads, saying they didn't know. Tobirama sighed in disappointment. If only there was such a clan, he could just skip Hiruzen Sarutobi and train Namikaze Minato to be the third Hokage. After watching the video that reviewed Sarutobi Hiruzen, it was impossible for Tobirama to say that he didn't have any grudge against this disciple. Who told him that he was the most suitable person to succeed him in the village at present? Danzo is not suitable to be Hokage, whether before or after the light screen appears. Fortunately, there has been a major breakthrough in cloning technology recently. As long as he didn't die, Sarutobi Hiruzen would remain his disciple. Want to be the third Hokage? Let's wait until he has completely eliminated Madara's threat. Coincidentally, the third Hokage also asked the fifth Jiraiya about Namikaze Minato's surname. Old man, there is something wrong with you. Back then, you checked Minato's identity and background thoroughly. You know better than me whether there is a Namikaze clan in the village. Jiraiya the fifth generation was right. He really thinks that anyone can be his disciple. Long before becoming a disciple, the third Hokage had already investigated Minato's background very clearly and knew that he was a very talented civilian ninja. As for the surname Namikaze, it may have been rich in ancestors and then declined. That's right, I'm just old and confused. The third Hokage smiled awkwardly and looked at the light screen again. Sasuke in the back row ignored the conversation between the two people. He looked at the image of Namikaze Minato on the light screen, and then turned to look at Uzumaki Naruto, looking thoughtful. Looking at the thoughtful Sasuke, Orochimaru was very satisfied with this disciple, smart, hardworking, eager to learn. A true genius. He was really looking forward to Sasuke's growth more and more. Minato has known the Hokage's position since childhood and can take turns. With an aura that is willing to serve the country with this life, he is determined to become Hokage and become a trendsetter in troubled times. For such an ambitious young man, there was one thing that kept him occupied at that time, which was the reserve Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina who had just arrived in Konoha. When the two first met in class, Minato was attracted to Kushina's red hair. Minato, oh, this red-haired woman is so damn sweet. But Kushina was not optimistic about him at the beginning, and once thought that the yellow man in front of her was a sissy. But it's not a problem to not be favored by a girl for a while. A true domineering president always has the opportunity to let the woman he loves take over his own fish pond. Jiraiya, Minato is indeed your disciple. He has been as lustful as you since he was a child. Orochimaru, if you don't know how to speak, don't speak. The fifth generation Jiraiya did not expect that Orochimaru, who had been silent since returning to the village, would speak to mock him here. Also, shouldn't Tsunade be the one to say the word lustful? Your line clearly used the word idiot, Orochimaru. your character is ruined. Chapter 67 Naruto's Fate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, Kyomogakure saw that Kushina had the physique to be a Jinchuriki, so they arranged for 3 powerful Kyomogakure ninjas to kidnap her. Humph, that's ridiculous, does Kyomogakure have this ability? Seeing the 3 ninjas wearing Kyomogakure forehead protectors chasing Kushina on the light screen, Tobirama couldn't help but sneer. Yeah, even if Konoha was weak at that time, it couldn't be so easily infiltrated by Kyomogakure ninjas, let alone kidnapping Jinchuriki. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought that Tobirama was right. If a ninja village can be infiltrated by ninjas from other villages so easily, what's the point of having a gatekeeper, and what's the point of sensing the barrier? I think the purpose of the 3rd Hokage should be to take advantage of the situation and take advantage of this great opportunity to let Minato Namikaze and the Ninetales Jinchuriki establish a bond. That should be it. Tobirama thought about it with the mind of a Hokage and agreed with Hiruzen's words. Next, we should let Minato rescue Kushina. As expected, Lin Tian continued as soon as Tobirama finished speaking. This is a great opportunity for Kushina to change her feelings towards him, and Minato will certainly not let it go. He successfully caught up with Kushina by relying on the red hair that Kushina left as a mark along the way. He instantly killed the 3 Kyumo ninjas along the way, and staged a macho man saving a beauty drama. Ha, it's really this routine. Hiruzen was very happy that he guessed the intention of the 3rd Hokage correctly. This indirectly shows that he now has the thinking of a Hokage. Danzo on the side saw Hiruzen laughing foolishly, and curled his lips unhappily. He secretly hated himself for not thinking of this. Danzo, is it really not suitable to be a Hokage? Old man, did you arrange it this way on purpose? The 5th generation Jiraiya looked at the heroic figure of his disciple on the light curtain and asked the 3rd generation Hokage, isn't this intention a little too obvious? It is indeed obvious. What kind of cloud ninja can sneak into Konoha without anyone noticing? It must be a very powerful ninja to be able to do it. The 3 cloud ninjas on the light curtain are most likely either Chunin or Genin, and there is no Jonin. Otherwise, the 3 of them would not be instantly killed by Minato, who had just graduated from the ninja school, but in this case, the logic is a bit unreasonable. How did 3 such scumbag cloud ninjas sneak into Konoha and deceive the Umbun ninjas who were protecting Kushina and tied her up? Don't care if it's obvious or not, just tell me if this trick is useful. The 3rd generation Hokage did not deny it, although his trick of taking advantage of the situation and going with the flow was simple, it did achieve the result he wanted. The old ones are still the best. On the screen, Lin Tian also expressed his opinion on this incident. This matter is ridiculous. Apart from other things, the ninjas arranged by Kyomogakure to go to Konoha to kidnap people are at least Chunin or Umbu. With Minato's strength after graduating from the ninja school, it should be impossible to defeat these 3 Kyomogakure ninjas, not to mention that he killed them instantly. Minato's operation clearly shows that the real powerful people do not become strong at a certain stage, but have been powerful since childhood. Kushina, who was quite arrogant before, has become dependent on Minato since she was rescued by Minato. Minato also publicized in Konoha that Kushina is my woman, and you stinky tomatoes and rotten eggs, it is best not to have any ideas about Kushina. At this point, the domineering President Minato directly scored a perfect score on Kushina. My future disciple seems to be very good at chasing girls. Jiraiya looked at Minato, who had won the beauty on the screen, his tone full of envy and jealousy, envy that he could be with the person he liked. At the same time, he was jealous that his hero saving the beauty drama was successful. Last month, Jiraiya asked Orochimaru for help, asking him to disguise himself to harass Tsunade and play a hero saving the beauty drama. At that time, he had a good idea. When Tsunade was in danger and at a loss, he, Jiraiya, made a brilliant appearance and beat away the gangster who wanted to attack Tsunade in a few seconds. In this way, after seeing his manly appearance, Tsunade would definitely look at him with a new eye and fall in love with him. Jiraiya had a good idea, but the final result was a little bit off. At that time, Tsunade lost money and was already full of anger. It happened that Orochimaru, who had changed his appearance, jumped out and kicked Orochimaru unconscious with a painful kick. Little Jiraiya, who was running from a distance, thought that things were going smoothly and ran over happily, but he saw Tsunade standing there unhappy, while Orochimaru was lying on the ground. That was because Tsunade didn't think much at the time, otherwise Jiraiya would have broken a few ribs. Sighing, little Jiraiya turned his head and looked at Tsunade with deep affection. He swore that no matter what means he used, he would win Tsunade's heart. Maybe the look in little Jiraiya's eyes was too hot. Tsunade felt something in her heart and looked at Jiraiya, and immediately got goosebumps all over her body. Jiraiya, what is this look of yours? Don't you know it's disgusting? After saying that, little Tsunade showed her fist to little Jiraiya. What I mean is, if you dare to look at me like this again, I will help you stretch your muscles afterwards. For the sake of his own life, little Jiraiya smiled and looked at the light screen again. As time passed, Minato became a mentoring Jonin, leading 3 subordinates. They are, Noara Rin, Uchiha Obito, and Hatake Kakashi. Unexpectedly, the initiator of the Ninetales Rebellion gift package mentioned in the previous issues of Light Screen was actually a student of the 4th Hokage. Tobirama didn't know at the time that Obito was a subordinate of the 4th Hokage. Now that he knew this, he suddenly had a very strange idea. Without the intervention of the Light Screen, the 3rd Hokage would have died at the hands of his disciple Orochimaru. The 4th Hokage also died at the hands of his own students, and although he, the 2nd generation Hokage, did not die directly in the hands of his disciples, he died in the hands of the Kumogakure ninja Kinkaku Ginkaku, but it was to cover the retreat of the 6 disciples that he died. If there were not these 6 disciples, he would not have to cover them, and he would not have to die. He also died indirectly at the hands of his disciples. Thinking about it this way, it seems that the position of Hokage cannot accept disciples. Once collected, it is death, just like fate. Thinking of this, Tobirama made a decision. If the following 5th and 6th generation Hokage also died directly or indirectly at the hands of his disciples, then he would have to add a rule, that is, if you want to be Hokage, you cannot have disciples. What, you said Tobirama couldn't be so superstitious? It doesn't cost any money anyway, just trust me. Chapter 68 Namikaze Minato VSAB Brothers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. During the period when he served as a mentor to Jonin, Minato was also highly regarded by the 3rd Hokage and often went out to perform secret missions. In particular, after Minato conquered Konoha's designated 9-tailed Jinchuriki Kushina from the inside out, it was equivalent to mastering Konoha's nuclear weapons. In addition, he was once taught by Jiraiya. As long as Minato is strong enough and qualified, reaching the age limit, it can be said that the position of Hokage is achieved in one step. So, all Minato needs is to secure a batch and wait for the passage of time. It seems that old man, you never thought about letting me become Hokage from the beginning to the end. Orochimaru said something abruptly, which embarrassed the 3rd Hokage. Don't say that, Orochimaru. After taking a puff of cigarette, the 3rd Hokage adjusted his emotions and continued, actually, the chances of you and Minato were 50-50. I will not be partial to either of you. Whichever of you can become Hokage. I just know that you and the group Zong got involved together and conducted so many inappropriate experiments. For the sake of the village, I started to favor Minato. Orochimaru chuckled and didn't answer. He actually didn't care about being Hokage or not. He just cared about his beloved teacher who supported Minato but not himself. This feeling was as if the first wife was looking for the mistress behind the real owner's back, which made him very unhappy. But so many years have passed, and he has taken a dim view of it. This was fine now. While he had enough time to do experiments, he could also train the talented disciples openly. He was satisfied. As for whether the truth back then was what the 3rd Hokage said, he didn't bother to explore. Soon, Minato received another opportunity. The reason is that the ninja world has been experiencing wars and revolutions all year round, and the beacon and drums are incessant, and everyone is shaken by the dust. After the First World War, the Second World War came. The Second World War was not enough and the Third War continued. Just like playing mahjong, one after another, countries are seizing resources like leeks. The land of fire is vast and rich in resources, and the girls are pretty, which has caused other forces to be like the lemons of the land of fire, which is so sour. Lin Tian said it very vividly. Hiruzen laughed loudly from the side, and even Tobirama couldn't help laughing. Well, compared to other countries, the resources of the fire country are indeed very rich, and the scenery is pleasant like spring all year round, but the location is not very good. It is in the center of the ninja world, a place of 4 battles. Fortunately, Konoha is strong enough to win every ninja war. Otherwise, such a unique geographical location may be taken away by other countries, in this case, the Konoha. Ninjas, who are the military force of the fire country, feel extremely uncomfortable being surrounded by enemies on all sides. Under the current situation in Konoha, a hot blue man named Namikaze Minato went to the battlefield with a kunai and singing. Oddly enough, the masters on the battlefield are attracted to each other like stand-ins. Minato encounters an equally matched opponent, brother AB from Hidden Cloud Village. This A is the cub of the 3rd generation Reikage who will succeed the Reikage. B is the younger brother and the 8-tailed Jinchuriki. Humph, it's the reckless man from Jonin village again. Tobirama was very dissatisfied with the village Hidden Cloud, not to mention his history. He died in the hands of the opponent. Looking at the light screen, the opponent later started a war against Konoha. What a disgusting village. Teacher, do you want to find something for Jonin village? Seeing Tobirama's expression was wrong, Danzo immediately came up with an idea. As for what to do. Isn't that simple? Intercept the other party's tasks, spread rumors about the other party, and slander the other party's character. This kind of dirty work is exactly Danzo's strength, isn't it? Tobirama looked at Danzo, who was full of confidence, thought for a moment, and shook his head. Forget it, the ninja world is calm now, let's not stir up trouble again. Okay, teacher. Danzo was still a little unwilling. Externally, Kumogakure village paid a large amount of materials and money to Konoha, causing the village's finances to be very poor. Internally, the 3rd Reikage had just succeeded to the throne and had to spend time cleaning up the diehards from the 2nd Reikage period. This time is really a God-given opportunity to deal with Jonin village. Unfortunately, Tobirama-sensei doesn't allow it. Danzo. Perhaps sensing Danzo's unwillingness, Tobirama explained to him, don't forget, Madara Uchiha is still hiding out and watching us. Upon hearing this, Danzo immediately reacted. Indeed, with Uchiha Madara's existence, what the village needs most right now is time to grow. Although Kumogakure village is at its weakest in history, it is still one of the 5 great ninja villages. Faced with Konoha's troubles, they will definitely give some counterattacks. Once or twice, they will always tie up some people in the village. On the premise of not destroying Jonin village, there is really no point in making small moves, might as well seize the time to develop. Do you understand now? Yes, teacher, I understand. Just when the 2 ninjas met in a narrow road, they discovered Minato's identity immediately due to his yellow hair and quick teleportation technique. The subordinates on A's side also started shouting, if you don't run away now, it will be later. A did not panic after hearing this, and said to Minato, little brother, you are the Konoha Yellow Flash that suddenly became famous, right? Minato saw that the other person was very discerning, so he replied, you are the cub of the 3rd Reikage, right? I heard that you are a fast boy. As soon as the words fell, the 2 sides were ready to start a fight if they disagreed. Minato was not false at all. He scattered the kunai around as if they were free of money, and told his subordinates to stay put and not get involved in the battle. Then, A, wrapped in thunder armor, flashed close to his face and attacked Minato. Minato reacted at the speed of light, threw a kunai in the air, and used the flying thunder god to teleport to the kunai previously placed on the tree to avoid the attack. Then he teleported behind A and picked up the kunai that had been thrown into the air, prepare for a sexy backstab. Although Tai2A had already reacted, his body couldn't keep up with his brain, and he felt lonely with his fist. B saw that something was wrong, and threw out an octopus leg priced at 998 to separate Minato and A. Minato suddenly became confused and transformed into a seafood chef, and an octopus sashimi came to the scene. Minato, let me cut a piece of Cthulhu's nose hair for you guys. If you like it, please collect it and collect your tickets. Aoli will give it to you. The 4th generation Flying Thunder God's technique is very good. Looking at the scene of Minato fighting A on the light screen, Tobirama looked a little surprised. He knew that the fourth Hokage knew the Flying Thunder God jutsu he invented, but he didn't know that the Yandame's Flying Thunder God technique would be so good. Almost catching up with myself, Minato, if it weren't for the fact that you are the second generation and the creator of the Flying Thunder God, I would have to say something to you, shameless. Chapter 69, 12-Year-Old Genius Jonin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. His actions to save AI revealed his identity as the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki. Inuzuka O and Minato's team discovered that the opponent had the Eight-Tailed Jinchuriki, and felt that it was not suitable to stay here for a long time. So everyone except Minato retreated, with Minato taking the back seat. While taking the back seat, Minato admired Kurabi's strength and saw through the precious things Kurabi possessed, and immediately turned on the domineering president mode to enlighten AI. But AI, a tough guy, didn't understand the meaning of Minato's words and went straight ahead. However, AI is still a bit cautious this time around, keeping Minato's eyes open to the surrounding Kuwait, ready to counterattack at any time. But something unexpected happened. Minato teleported behind Bai and said, "I am stupid, my Flying Thunder God technique can be set everywhere, it will not fail." At this time, AI had already stepped out of the fighting range. He hit Lonely with his fist and was eliminated directly. Minato teleported behind him but did not gain an advantage. Because Bai's knife is also ready and is not far from Minato's waist. If nothing goes wrong, one will be stabbed and the other will be shot in the head. The final result is that Minato ended up in a draw for the sake of a happy life in the future. It's so awesome. The fourth Hokage is so awesome. Seeing the fourth Hokage on the light screen, 1 against 2, Naruto couldn't help but scream. After he finished saying this, he remembered that he seemed to be unable to speak, otherwise he would be looked down upon by the lustful immortal. Thinking of this, he immediately covered his mouth with his hand. Naruto's stupidity made 5th Jiraiya a little tired, and he was also blaming himself. He blames himself for neglecting Naruto all these years in search of the Child of Destiny, which resulted in him becoming what he is now. Fortunately, it's not too late. I believe that after being taught by Toad Sage Jiraiya, he will definitely become a reliable person. Kushina, really? I do not believe. The fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato. His strength is pretty good. Tobirama also commented on Namikaze Minato's strength. Although the battle shown on the light screen was short, it was enough for Tobirama to understand Minato's strength, not to mention anything else. The Flying Thunder God technique is really smooth. On the surface, Minato's Flying Thunder God technique requires the assistance of kunai with the technique engraved on it. As long as these kunai are destroyed, the Flying Thunder God is almost useless. When the opponent understood this and focused all his energy on the kunai technique, he also walked into his trap, because Minato would also engrave the magic formula on the spot. From the light screen, it can be seen that Minato imprinted the technique on the 8-tailed squid tentacles. In general, the Flying Thunder God technique in Minato's hands is already better than the previous one, Tobirama also admitted. This in his heart, but he won't show it. The dignified second Hokage, the creator of the Flying Thunder God jutsu, also wanted to save face. By the way, Cloud Hidden Village sent the son of the Raikage and the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki to the battlefield, but the village only sent Namikaze Minato, Orochimaru, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and the others. Could it be that the situation at that time was already bad? Come, can't you send other experts to support? If Tobirama was looking at Minato's personal strength, then Sarutobi Hiruzen was looking at the situation in the ninja world at that time. Through the light curtain, they learned that there were powerful ninjas like the Sannin in Konoha. The emergence of the AB combination also indicates that Kumogakure's side has invested a lot of combat power. In comparison, the combat power invested by Konoha's side is somewhat inferior. If Minato Namikaze hadn't turned the tide on his own, the front line at Kumogakure village would have been lost. Perhaps it was precisely because of Minato's wonderful performance in this battle that he became Hokage afterwards. However, the war was not over yet. Konoha, which was already facing enemies on many sides, was also attacked by Iwagakure, resulting in an unprecedented lack of combat power. Hiruzen, as expected, Konoha is under attack from many sides. Konoha Superior, Foam Minato, led Hitaki Kakashi, Noara Rin, and Uchiha Obito to blow up the Jinyubi Bridge, the enemy supply route. Kakashi was promoted to Jonin at the age of 12, and everyone went to the battlefield. 12-year-old Jonin. This is a bit outrageous. Yes, even in wartime, becoming a Jonin at the age of 12 is indeed outrageous. In Tobirama's office, everyone suddenly took a breath when they saw Kakashi's age when he became a Jonin. What is the concept of 12 years old? As a classmate of the same class, you have just graduated from the ninja school and become a genin, while others are already Jounin. This gap is not small. I remember that when taking stock of the third Hokage, Light Screen teased that the third Hokage was little Kakashi. This shows that Kakashi is a powerful ninja, otherwise Light Screen would not have teased him. It's just a little confusing. In the middle and back row of the office, Tifeng, Koharu, and the others were also discussing Kakashi. Kakashi was able to become a Jonin at the age of 12, so his qualifications must be pretty good. Even after the death of the fourth Hokage and several years of growth, why did Kakashi not become the fifth Hokage? Will Hiruzen return to take charge of Konoha? Hearing Tifeng's words, Yen nodded and continued, so this is very unreasonable. Either Hiruzen, who has enjoyed the taste of power, wants to regain power, or Kakashi will have problems in his future growth. I just don't know which one it is. Then continue to look at the light curtain. It should be explained above. Little Jiraiya and the others were also shocked by the fact that he became a Jonin at the age of 12. Little Tsunade also used this incident to taunt little Jiraiya, saying that he was not as good as his disciple's student. After saying this, little Jiraiya blushed and felt very embarrassed. Kakashi, what a shame. Tobirama and the others didn't know Kakashi's growth trajectory. Except for Sasuke and Naruto, the fifth Jiraiya's side knew about it. It's a pity indeed. If Obito's Sharingan hadn't been a hindrance, he would have been stronger. As we all know, people without Uchiha bloodline will not be able to exit the Sharingan state after possessing it, and will be in an open state at all times. If one's own chakra is huge, and someone like the Uzumaki clan has the Sharingan, maybe the side effects won't be that big. However, Hitaki Kakashi's chakra amount is small, and the existence of the Sharingan, a large consumer of chakra, has resulted in what should have been a period of rapid improvement in strength. Because of the existence of the Sharingan, the main body, the improvement in strength is minimal. They are also thinking about it all the time. If Kakashi didn't have the Sharingan, and according to normal development, would he be stronger than his father, Hitaki Tsukumo? Unfortunately, they can only think about it. Chapter 70 Kannabi Bridge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Orochimaru, what happened to Kakashi? And why does he have the Sharingan of my Uchiha family? As a member of Kakashi's team, Sasuke also went to find some information after learning that Kakashi had the Sharingan, but these information only let him know that Kakashi was a very talented ninja. He became a Chunin at the age of 6 and a Jounin at the age of 12. In addition, the Sharingan issue that he was most concerned about could not be found in the information. Don't worry, Sasuke-kun, let's see if the light screen can give the answer first. Okay, if the light curtain doesn't give me the answer, then you have to tell me. No problem. Sasuke knew more or less about Kakashi by looking up information. Naruto didn't know at all. He only knew that Kakashi was a Jounin and their guiding Jounin, but he didn't know anything else. After all, Naruto was not Sasuke. It would be more practical to let him sleep at home if he wanted him to find information about his mentoring Jounin. I didn't expect Kakashi-sensei to be so powerful. A 12-year-old Jonin is so strong. After saying that, Naruto covered his mouth again. Seeing Naruto being stupid again, Jiraiya the 5th generation sighed and said, "You don't have to cover your mouth." "No, if I don't cover it, I'm afraid I won't be able to stop talking." "Now that you've covered yourself, aren't you still talking?" That's true." Naruto felt that what Jiraiya the 5th generation said made sense, so he stopped covering his mouth. Before leaving, Minato gave Kakashi a kunai with the mark of the Flying Thunder God. Not long after they arrived at the front line, Minato's team experienced a small-scale battle. Because Kakashi was eager to show off the power of his Raikiri, he was unable to fight evenly with the enemy and was slightly inferior. Fortunately, Minato rescued Kakashi in time. While Kakashi was being placed, Minato's flying thunder god mark was also set on the enemy. Then he put down his backpack and entered combat mode. Before the bag even hit the ground, the enemy was already judged to be dead. However, Minato was not in a hurry to kill the IWA nin at hand. The IWA ninja was shocked when he saw Minato's yellow fur and agile movements. "Masaka, are you Konoha's yellow-haired Flash?" The boss said that as soon as he sees him, he will run away. "I finally understand what he means, /."